name is Vanafataman Benzimanus Madin, matrix number BB241611018. I'm the team leader, and next to me is.
My name is Nirmali Prasad with matrix number BB2411053.
And my name is Tiola Alba, anak perempuan Albert Simon. My number card matrix is BB24161152. And beside to me is...
My name is Rashidin binti Muhammad Ali. My matric number is BB24110255.
And my name is Umaira Rashidin binti Muhammad Azri with matrix number BB24110572.
Okay, so today we will be conducting a group discussion about Thompson Telescope Ltd case study. So, are you guys ready?
Yes, we are ready.
I think we can start now.
Okay, let's start now.
Okay guys, let's get started. So for today's discussion, we need to analyze the Thompson telescope's case, basically identify the operation of problems still facing, compare some solution, and then agree on a recommendation together. Does everyone have a rough idea of this case?
Yes, I read through it. It's basically a company that started really well after setting up manufacturing. But now they're struggling with late deliveries, rising stock levels, and falling profits.
Right, we are in the same boat on it. And the parent company, Moray Group, is putting pressure on them to hit a 50% growth target, which is they are clearly not meeting.
I noticed that too. And what struck me is that the problem seems to come from multiple departments, not just one area.
Yeah, same here, Umaira. I think that actually what makes this case interesting. It's not one single failure, it's a change of issues connecting sales, engineering, and manufacturing together.
Exactly. So through our collaboration, let's try to analyze each of these areas one by one, and then pick up what solution make the most sense. Sounds good?
Yeah, let's go.
Alright, so what do we think are the biggest problems? Fatin, you want to start?
Sure. So, what I read, sale is a huge part of the problem. The promising customer 2 weeks deliveries for standard telescope, but the actual manufacturing lead time for larger models is up to 12 weeks. That's a massive gap. And on top of that, salespeople are dropping urgent order onto manufacturing without warning, which completely disrupt production planning.
Yes, I think your point supports the capacity issue. From the manufacturing side, there is no accurate demand information. Sale forecasts are only made once a year and focus on financial figures and not product volumes. So when the orders suddenly increase, the factory struggles to handle the demand.
Good point, Umaira. And that rush of orders lead to speed batches, right? I noticed that in the case, when a machine is needed urgently for another part, they only make half a batch and finish the rest later. That just never creates a never-ending cycle of urgency everywhere.
Exactly, you all. But I have to check my data financial number first. Okay, as we can see it here, and the financial number really show how badly this is affecting the company. So trading profit dropped from 906,000 pounds in 1099 to only 284,000 pounds in 2001. Meanwhile, stock levels increased to almost like 2.8 million pounds. Like the Peter Notter estimate that holding this inventory costs around 20% per year, which amount to approximately 560,000 pounds annually just to store stock that is not even moving.
That's a really alarming figure. And isn't the stock record accuracy also terrible?
Yes, only like 14%, which means more than half the stock records don't match what is physically there. So, as you can see, you get the situation. and where some parts are massively overstocked while others are completely at zero, and nobody catch it until there is a crisis on the factory floor.
Well, actually, Tia, on top of that, the engineering side contributes to that too, because Thompson set up UK manufacturing separately from US operation. They ended up with two incompatible numbering systems. US parts start with A, UK parts have different system entirely. And designers just pick components straight from the supplier's catalog without actually thinking about standardization. So across 200 product types, you have almost no common components, which makes inventory management incredibly complex.
And also, the US FDA situation made everything worse. They need 4 months advance notice for this. They don't allow any changes within 1 month of production. So any forecasting error gets completely ignored.
Right. To summarize our findings, sales is overpromising and creates unpredictable demand. Engineering has a fragmented component system, and manufacturing is dealing with inaccurate stock data, split batches, and a rigid supply chain. So, have we missed anything important?
Yeah, I think we should also mention the finished goods side. We order quantities for finished telescope were set 2 years ago and haven't been updated, so they don't reflect current demand at all.
Good point, Nirma. And the warehouse regularly get bypassed by salespeople going into that telescope inside, which make the stock record even worse.
Okay, so now let's think about their solutions. I would ask to actually discuss and compare alternative solution rather than just jumping to one answer. What option do we see?
I think the main solution is better production planning. Right now, they use a reorder point system based on outdated stock usage data. A proper MRP system, which is material requirements planning, would calculate the components needed based on actual orders and production schedules. So, this would help to prevent having too much of some parts and not enough of others.
Yeah, that makes sense, Umaira, but I want to give, I want to provide some constructive feedback on that solution, which is MRP only works if the data feeding it is accurate. With 40% stock record accuracy, any MRP system right now would just produce unreliable output. So before they invest in a new system, why don't they need to fix the data problem first?
That's a good point. The first step should be a proper stock reconciliation, physically count all inventory. The second one is to update the records and also improve stock recording controls. And when the data is accurate, the company can implement it and the company can implement an MRP system.
Yeah, and alongside that, I think they need to rationalize their components. What I'm trying to say is, if they reduce the number of unique parts by standardizing across product families, the whole inventory becomes simpler to manage. MRP becomes more effective, and they can reduce their dependence on the US affiliate. Jack Rule mentioned that wanting to bring US import below only 20% component standardization would directly support that goal.
I also think there's need to be a change in how sales and manufacturing meet. Right now, sales own everything from pricing to delivery, but manufacturing has no input. What if they introduce a sales and operation planning process? The sales share a running monthly forecast in actually need, not just revenue. that give manufacturing the visibility to plan ahead instead of just reactive.
That's a good point actually. So we're basically comparing two brands approaches. One is reactive, where you try to expedite better, prioritize orders better, manage the warehouse more tightly. The other is systematic, where you fix the process, which is method accuracy, planning system, and cross-department communication. What does everyone think?
I think the evidence in the case already show the reactive approach is not working. There are already expediting, which is like salespeople are already hand delivery, urgent order, and profit are still falling apart. So I think that I should argue the systematic approach is the only real option.
I respect your perspective on that. Dia and I agree the reactive fixes are just papering over the cracks. You can sustain 15% growth by chasing your own tail.
I think after listening to your point, Emma, I want to add it's not just about system either. There's a cultural element. Sales need to accept they can't keep dumping surprise order on manufacturing. And manufacturing needs to trust a proper plan rather than always responding to delivery shortcomings. The behavioral changes has to happen alongside the technical changes.
Totally agree. And there's also a quick win here. The US affiliates long lead time is a major constraint. 4 months notice with no flexibility is difficult to manage. If Thompson can speed up UK manufacturing for those parts, then the company will become much more agile.
Okay. Are there any risks with the systematic approach we should flag?
I think the risk with the systematic approach we should flag is the main one, which is the time and also the cost. A stock reconciliation takes effort and disrupt operation, which is like MRP implementation require an investment. So we in the short term we have to things might not improve immediately or could even dip before they get more better.
Change management is a risky. Getting sales to commit to proper forecasting and getting manufacturing to trust the system instead of constantly expecting. That's a significant intervention.
Yes, those are real risks actually, but I think the risk of doing nothing is bigger. The trend in the financial data is really going the wrong way, and more group won't wait forever.
Alright, I think we're ready to roll up. Let's try to reach a consensus, a recommendation we all agree on. Based on everything we've discussed, what do we want to put forward?
For me, I'd suggest a first approach. First one is stock reconciliation and better control of stock records. For phase 2 is introducing MRP with rolling forecast from sales through proper and SNOP process. And the last one, phase 3, is simplifying components and reducing dependence on the US affiliate.
Yeah, I suppose that, Myra. And I'd add that engineering should start the regionalization, work in parallel with the phase 1. Because design changes take time, and the earlier they start, the sooner the benefit kicks in.
Yeah, but from a number perspective, even a 30% reduction in average inventory will free up around like 840,000 pounds in working capital and save like roughly 168,000 pounds a year in a holding cost. I mean, like we can see, right? Like that will make a meaningful dent in their loss problem.
Also, from a customer service angle, let's directly translate to more reliable delivery promises. That's what actually causing the complaint. If we fix the planning, delivery, performance should improve, which protect the 80% market share we currently hold.
So based on our discussion, we have reached a consensus on the best operational solution, which is a best improvement program, starting with data integrity by MRP and SKOP, supported by ongoing component rationalization. It tackles the root causes across sales, engineering, and manufacturing rather than just symptoms. Does everyone agree we are comfortable presenting this conclusion?
Yes, I fully agree.
Yes. I agree. The financial case support it like total.
Yes, definitely. It's practical and sequenced properly.
I agree with you guys. It's the most comprehensive approach based on the evidence in the file.
Great. Good discussion, everyone. I think we covered all the key issue and then the consulting solid together.
I think that's all for today.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's all for today. I think it's the end of our discussion. Okay.